Welcome to America Needs Fatima. What happened after the Fatima apparitions? Hello, my name is Antonio, and today we are going to talk about what happened after 1917. Well, as foretold by Our Lady, Francisco and Jacinta, the youngest of the three seers, died. Remember, Our Lady promised to take them to heaven. Francisco died about 18 months after the apparitions, and Jacinta lasted about 1 year more. They both suffered a lot and became great saints. Now, they suffered specifically for the salvation of poor sinners, as Our Lady had requested. Sister Lucia she went on to live until 97 years old of age. She died on February 13th, 2005. Now, the reason for that was because Lucia had a mission. And this mission was she was going to actually receive many private apparitions and receive specific requests to pass on to the world, to the Pope, and to the ecclesiastical authorities. Now, a lot of these apparitions were kind of in a way a follow-up to what Our Lady had said in the main apparitions in 1917. For example, Our Lady on July 13th, 1917, she said, "I will come to ask for the consecration of Russia," or "I will come to ask for the 5 First Saturdays devotion." All right. She just, during the 1917 apparitions, she sometimes would make a reference to something which she came later to give, let's say, the specifics. So, for example, and again, look, there are many apparitions. There's no way I can go through all of them, or we will be here for a long time. But let's say the first one I want to mention was one apparition that took place December 10th, 1925. So Our Lady appears, and she places her, Our Lady appears, and right next to her appears our Lord as a boy. Our Lady places her right hand over the shoulder of Sister Lucia, while holding on her left hand her Immaculate Heart surrounded by thorns. Then our Lord says this, quote, "Have compassion on the heart of your most holy mother, covered with thorns, with which ungrateful men pierce it at every moment, and there is no one to make an act of reparation to remove them." After this, Our Lady went on to request the 5 First Saturday devotion. And she promised, she says, "I promise to assist at the moment of death with all the graces necessary for salvation those who practice this devotion." Now, what is the devotion? Our Lady herself says, quote, "All those who, on the first Saturday of 5 consecutive months, shall confess, receive communion, say 5 decades of the Rosary, and will also keep me, Our Lady, company for 15 minutes while meditating on the 15 mysteries of the Rosary. And in reparation to doing this, in reparation for the sins against the Immaculate Heart of Mary." So this is what the 5 First Saturday devotion is. Now, unfortunately, this is a devotion. We actually at American Needs Fatima refer to it as the forgotten devotion, because unfortunately it's not very well remembered by a lot of Catholics. So we will continue, as long as we're alive, to push this devotion, because Our Lady gave a tremendous importance to this devotion. Later on, in another apparition, many years later, our Lord appeared to Sister Lucia and explained to her more specifically why the devotion, why the 5 first Saturdays, in reparation for what? And he gave her 5 reasons. This devotion was to be practiced in reparation for, number 1, blasphemies against her Immaculate Conception. So this is our Lord talking about his mother. Number 2, blasphemies against her perpetual virginity. Number 3, blasphemies against her divine maternity in refusing at the same time to recognize her as mother of men. Number 4, the blasphemies of those who publicly seek to sow in the hearts of children indifference or scorn or even hatred of this Immaculate Mother. And finally, number 5, the offenses of those who outrage her directly in her images or statues. You may recall some years back, American Needs Fatima did a big protest in Oklahoma against a group of Satanists who announced a sort of ritual of desecration of a statue of our Blessed Mother. And they did this. They took a statue, okay, one of the Satanists dressed as a bishop, and they took a statue of Our Lady and they poured, fake blood over her, and then followed the whole thing up with some sort of satanic ritual. So this is the things that Our Lady is referring to. Our Lord was referring to. So this was another apparition. So these apparitions, our Lord came to talk about the need for the devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, to insist on the 5 first Saturdays, and also about the consecration of the world, with a specific mention of Russia to her Immaculate Heart of Mary. So let me read here. Yes, October 22nd, 1940, our Lord appeared to Sister Lucia and said the following: "Pray for the Holy Father, sacrifice yourself so that his heart will not succumb to the bitterness that oppresses him. The persecutions will increase. I will punish the nations with wars and famine. The persecution against my church will weigh heavily upon my vicar on earth, the Pope. His Holiness will be able to shorten these times of tribulation if he fulfills my desire of consecrating the whole world and of Russia in particular to the Immaculate Heart of Mary." So here again, our Lord insisting with the Pope that he consecrate the world, and with a specific mention of Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Now, there's a lot of talk about the consecration, and a lot of people, they say, we need a consecration. But here's the thing. If you read carefully the message of Fatima, Our Lady says on July 13th, 1917, and I want to be very specific about this. She says, "The First World War will come to an end." I am paraphrasing. "But if men do not convert, another worse war will come, the Second World War." She even talked about a sign appearing in the skies of Europe as a sign that God was getting ready to punish the world. And then she says, to prevent the Second World War, I will come to ask for the consecration of Russia. So Our Lady's main intention with the consecration was to prevent the Second World War. Now, as I just read here, in 1940, Our Lady appeared, so the Second World War was already going on. The Pope was Pope Pius XII. And many of us, we have seen movies or read books about this topic of the suffering that the Second World War and the invasion of Italy caused the Pope, not only Italy, but the whole world, right? And as you remember, the Nazis, the Germans, they did not invade the Vatican. They left the Vatican alone, but the Vatican was surrounded by the Nazis, by the enemy. and causing, suffering, persecution of people, of Jews, of all sorts of things. But it's interesting to note that here, the consecration of Russia was not performed to prevent the Second World War. But during the war, our Lord still insists and says, where was this? His Holiness will be able to shorten these times of tribulation, the war that was already happening, if he fulfills my desire of consecrating the whole world to Russia. Now, it has been historically proven by authors, and different studies have been made where several consecrations were made by the popes, but unfortunately they did not fulfill specifically the request as Our Lady stipulated. So it's a very sad thing. Your guess is as good as mine why this did not happen, but those are the facts. And the fact that the war came is a proof that the consecration did not take place. Well, as I mentioned already, there were many other apparitions to Sister Lucia, but I want to give you one last one. And this is I want to read a quote from May 1943. Our Lord appears to Sister Lucia, and I'm going to ask my good friend Josh here to put this on the screen. It's one of the most important quotes for me, anyways, for about devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So remember, this is our Lord himself talking about his mother. Quote, I desire, I'm going to read this very slowly because of its importance. I desire most ardently the propagation of the cult of the devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, because the love of this heart attracts souls to me. It is the center from which the rays of my light and my love go through all the earth, and the unquenchable fountain from which the living water of my mercy flows into the earth. Close quote. Well, I want to leave you with that quote, but remind you that, look, this is a very quick summary, and later on, this is why I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this channel so you get notified next time we have a new video, because we are going to get into the message of Fatima in detail, and we are especially going to talk about how can we practice the Fatima message. Many of us know the Fatima message, but there's always that question, okay, what do I do about it? How do I live the Fatima message? How do I propagate it? How do I talk to my friends about it? All right. All these questions we are going to talk about in this channel and give you many ideas, many suggestions, tell you, many stories in order to motivate you and to give you, better means to not only practice the Fatima message yourself in your life, but also to propagate to your friends and especially to your family. So, my dear friend, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so, and especially click the little bell on the corner. And one last thing, I left you a link below this video for you, and I invite you to sign up to become a Rosary Rally Captain in October of 2022, or whatever year, if you're listening this later on, maybe 2023. Every October, American Needs Fatima promotes the public square rosary campaign in fulfillment to Our Lady's request. Remember, the rosary is one of the most important things that Our Lady asked us to do. As far as devotion, she asked for the 5 first Saturday devotion, as we have seen, but very specifically for the rosary. Even in the 5 first Saturday devotion, Our Lady asks us to say a rosary and to meditate on the 15 mysteries. So please consider this very seriously. Clicking the link below and become a Rosary Rally Captain. We have been doing this for the past 15 years, and I don't have to tell you how much America needs prayer. America not only needs prayer, but above all, it needs conversion. And there is only one path to conversion: the Rosary and the devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. How do we do this? Well, we begin, we can't make the world change, but we can begin doing what Our Lady requests. So, my friend, click on the link and join us next year and become a Rosary Rally Captain. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you again. God bless.